So this book is called The Secret Garden. Not quite sure why I seen a movie that was made about it years and years ago, and I was like, hey, this might be a good story. Haven't actually read the book before. So here we have the main character being introduced. Her name is Mary, and she's a bit of a monster. She's just cruel and thoughtless and selfish. And she was raised by parents who were cruel and thoughtless and selfish and didn't really care for her and didn't want her around. And this is a bad thing. Always be glad to have parents who spend time with you and spend time with them, because little Mary lost her parents, but lost her parents, though one can wonder if she ever really had them. The person she knew best or cared most for and only barely cared for at that was Aya, her nurse, who was just someone who was a servant hired to take care of her. Now, the father was some sort of government official in the British government who was assigned to India. And this is a fairly common starting place for stories in the Victorian age, because India was a colony of Great Britain and part of the British Empire. How much there was actually British people living in India, I don't know. But it's a common place for stories. And I mean, Kipling wrote about it a lot. Kipling was from India, or spent a lot of time in India. And this is the same sort of thing. Now, her parents died and were taken away. And you have the soldiers. And there was one soldier who she had seen with her father. And he was like, I think there was a kid, but I'm not sure. I don't think I ever saw her. And so her parents just kept her out of the way and just kept her hidden, because her mother was interested in parties and her father was interested in work. And this just made her a terrible person, at least starting out. And, hopefully she'll become a better person over the course of the book. Now, they died from cholera. And cholera is something you don't see in the United States. I mean, it almost never happens. It happens a lot, sadly, in poorer countries. It is a waterborne illness. So that means you get it from bad drinking water. And we're talking really bad drinking water usually. Here in the US, they have all sorts of rules and regulations. And in Europe, too. And, in the US and Europe, they have all these rules and regulations. You must have so much chlorine. You must filter it. You must sterilize it in these particular ways. And there's all of these rules. And it's like they want a 4 sigma decrease in... I've been trained as a water plant operator, so I know a lot of these things, at least on the US level. And I've read some about what they do in Europe. And it's like, you need so much residual chlorine in the water. And chlorine will kill the cholera bacteria. Chlorine kills lots of things. But you need so much chlorine in the water. You need a 4 sigma decrease. So a 1 sigma is a tenth. 2 sigma is a tenth of a tenth, or 1%. Or 100th. 3 sigma is 1,000th. 4 sigma is 1/10,000th. So it's like you need at least 1/10,000th. And preferably more, because more is always better. Oh, yeah, more is better. Anyway, so cholera you don't see today because it's a bacteria that's transmitted through bad water. So if all of the water is clean and all of the water is treated and has chlorine in it, and the chlorine kills the cholera, then you're safe from it. And so that's why you only see a few cases of it in the United States. But you see it a lot in places like India, where they don't have the infrastructure. You see it a lot in places in Central and South America where they don't have the infrastructure. And it's, as I said, it's transmitted by water, and the number one symptom of cholera is digestive issues. And so the digestive issues is lots of diarrhea. Lots and lots of diarrhea. And because it's spread by water and the diarrhea contains cholera, it causes it to spread and spread and spread. So always wash your hands. Soap. Soap is great for killing things. Killing bacteria, breaking apart viruses. It's great for destroying all of these different pathogens. So always wash your hands after going to the bathroom. Always, always, always. Especially if you're not doing well. So always wash your hands. Always be careful, especially when. And so cholera kills people mostly through dehydration, which is another reason why you don't see it much in the Western world, in advanced nations, because not only do we have clean drinking water, we have lots of clean drinking water. We don't have to draw water up in a bucket 50 feet from the bottom of a well. We don't have to, work at a pump for 4 minutes to get a glass of water. We just turn on the tap and we have all of the clean water we want. We understand, hey, if you're losing a lot of fluids, you need to replace both the fluids and the salts. So that's why, if you have problems, diarrhea, the runs, then you need to have salt as well as water, which is why there's sports drinks and Pedialyte and things like that, where it replaces the salts as well as replacing the water. And so cholera is treatable. There's actually vaccines for it now. But it still kills a lot of people in a lot of poor countries, which is a terrible thing. So we'll see how the book goes.